Okay, so we have a Facebook, and Instagram, YouTube. I think everybody is here. Let me just share in a couple places. How are you all doing tonight? It's a little hot, y'all. Oh, this light, I don't think I want it like in there. How about that? I think that's good, right? You could still see me pretty good out, right? I hope so. Um, I'm rocking my little earrings today, feeling, you know, just feeling black and white and purple. Yeah, what you think? Good evening. Come on in the room. It is going to be a really good one for y'all tonight. Child, the scandalism. The scandalism, y'all. It's a lot. My God. Oh, God. Let's see. Let me get a few of our friends to come join us. How are y'all doing today? It's a wonderful Wednesday. Wonderful is Women's Wellness Wednesday around here on Echo Chill with Miss Jessie. Uh, so it's always about Women Wellness Wednesday, and hence, hint why we do our Women in the Bible stories on Wednesdays, because it goes with the theme of us talking about women, having a conversation about ourselves and how we relate to one another, and how it really shows you there's nothing new underneath the sun, for real. Like a lot of things, somewhat, when it comes to us, a lot of some of the emotions and some of the ways that the women in the Bible did things is kind of sort of still in some ways have some similarities, and if not exact similarities, there's so much lessons and things to learn and takeaways, whether it's the takeaways of what not to do or the takeaways of to do, or a new mindset that you can adapt to and adjust to. It's just good to know that you know we're not alone, right? We're not alone. We are following after generations of women. So this womanhood is real deal, Holyfield, and it's been happening for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part. I think my lighting is good. Let me look at myself here. Oh, look, I started talking about the women that I got distracted. But I want to get started right away because I want us to get into conversations. So let's see where we are now. All right, I'm just going to tell a few folks to come join me. I'm live. Okay. Maybe, I don't know. Why don't we just get started? And whoever joins us, or they can watch the replay, right? Because because I do have something else I need to do before I move forward, tonight. Um, I have a very important thing to take care of. Okay, before I go to bed tonight. So I want to make sure that I am being, a good steward over this moment. But I just want to see how it looks like on Instagram. So let's see. All right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, y'all. All right, let me see how it look. But come on in the room. Make sure you spread this and sprinkle it on your timeline so that our friends could find us and know that your girl is here. Okay. So wait a minute, where is it? Hello, hello, come on in the room. Good evening, y'all. Good evening. So we're going to go right into it, right? So today's Women in the Bible story is so juicy, but it's full of a lot of things. Oh, wow, nice. All the way from Ghana, huh? How are you? How you been? Thanks for stopping in the room. Good to see you. Wow. Are we on vacation out there? Oh, wow, that's lovely. Are you on vacation or did you move there? But either way, that's great. Um, but yes, so y'all, there's so much here to learn about. We know about Sarah and Hagar. Um, but there are also things that we need to discuss about them. Okay, y'all, no ginger ale, but I still got my cup. It's today I have kiwi strawberry juice. Yes, which is delicious. But yeah, y'all. So let's talk about them. Let's get started and let's talk about Sarah and Hagar. A few things that I can say off the bat is these women had beef. Whoa, whoa, wait, what? Well, congratulations. Oh, wow. Lovely. Well, congratulations on your nuptial. Wow, that's nice. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Oh, yes, I do them. I had them on the pause, but I've been doing these for like a long time, but I had paused from doing them, but I'm back doing them again every Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here on Central Time. But yeah, so it gets really really good. So I hope you can stick around. And I hope that okay, you're listening. Good. If you have questions, let me know. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being in the room. And thank you for engaging. I appreciate that. So, ladies, so let's talk about Hagar and Sarah. Now we know about Hagar and we know about Sarah. And I know I like to do women in the Bible that we don't really know about so that I can educate, right? And give life to these women from the word itself, right? By uh infiltrating them into our lives, into us, like women today. And we have so much stuff that have in common with women that is in the Bible from before us. We stand on each other's shoulders. That let the truth be told. So there is some things that you may not be aware of, because when I hear the messages around, when they talk about Ishmael and Isaac, um there are a lot more focus on Abraham and Isaac, right? Because of the fact that he was the promised child. And so you hear more about that. You do hear about Hagar, but it's kind of like, oh well, that's because she had Ishmael. But there are some other things that I was reading about, that was like, wow, because at some point it seemed like it would be like, oh well, Hagar, Sarah was tormenting Hagar, because at the end of the day she was the one pregnant with her husband child. But they were doing it to each other, y'all. They were both being petty betties together. Okay, they were both, and they both had like their own, I guess, rite of passage, if you will, in the house. Now, picture this, y'all. Let's put it to modern day. Let's say today, and when I say today, I mean like right now. Let's say right now. Hello, welcome in the room. Let's say right now, today, God forbid you can't have a child and you are barren, because this is the conversation. Okay, let's make sure that first of all, let's put some context around the room and these conversations, because there are times that I talk about certain women and I have to put disclaimers up about triggers, right? So this will be talking about women that cannot have a woman that cannot have a baby, and we're going to be talking about things that may be triggering to you depending on where you are, so I want to make sure I do my due diligence to that level of sensitivity in the conversation. But picture this: so you are a woman today and you cannot have children, and you now are in the room, in the house with your husband, and you getting older and there's no baby. The fact of the matter is you are not able to have children. Now, in those days, it was like being a mother was like the thing. And if you cannot have children, it's almost like you were not able to do the right thing by your husband. And then it was like if your husband didn't have any children, it's like they don't have an heir, or someone to continue the family legacy. And it's like it was like a really big thing. Now, I don't know if we are on that level here to date, but I do know that every time you having a gender reveal, right, as I've seen them, the man is always hoping for a boy and the woman is almost always hoping for a girl. So they may not be exact, but there are some expectations, or there are some similarities, or there are some undertone, thing from them to us today. Because let it be that you are in a marriage and you are pregnant, and now you're having the gender reveal, and each time you're pregnant you have a girl, and your husband is like, where's my boy? I need a boy. I need a boy. It's like the thing. It's like because this boy, yes, your girls will have your last name, but eventually the girls will get married and they'll have another man's last name. They're not going to keep your last name forever. But a boy child will, because they're the one who's going to get married and give the last name to the woman that they married. So having a man child or a boy child is important because it carries the name of the family. And when you cannot have no children, now you don't have a boy or a girl. You have nothing to say that you have a seed, right? You are not fruitful in multiplying. You are probably just being fruitful in doing it, but there's no child. Now, in those days, they live so much older than I believe we live today. Because there's so much, things that change with the air, the way we eat, all of the things that kind of really maybe stunt our growth or lifespan, if you will. But here we go. We are with Sarah and Abraham married. They're both getting older in age, and now there's like, okay, there's no baby. And of course, knowing that and knowing the whispers in the conversations surrounding them because they don't have children, there's a plan that, Sarah decided on her own. It wasn't her husband that asked her this. She decided this on her own. Like, you know what? I got a great idea. And now brought Hagar into this situation. She talks to her husband about this and bring this lovely idea up to him. And listen, my brothers, I don't know if today you will say yay or nay to that, but he jumped on that quickly, right? It didn't say if he stuttered. It didn't say if he was like, let's think about it. There was a mention that he prayed about it. That could have been a prayer real quick, like, thank you, Lord, amen, let's do it. Or was it like a, Lord, I don't know if this is right, but God, in the name of Jesus, give me a sign that you want me to have this woman in my bed to bear my child because my wife says so. It's okay with her. So surely, Lord, it's okay with me. Is it okay with you? I don't know if he prayed that long or to that extent. I'm imagining that he just was like, okay, she brought this up. She's good with it. Let's do it. So they do it. Well, they meaning Abraham and Hagar. They do it. Okay, they do the boom boom in the room, and then it happened. And then it exploded. And then comes the baby. And now, y'all, things begin to change. Things begin to change between Hagar and Sarah because now you have two women living in one household, and only one is married to the man, but the other one is the helpmaid or the housemaid, and she's the mother of the husband's first child, the son, which is what? Very significant. Having a son is a big deal. So now you have Ishmael, who is born into this household as the heir now of Abraham. And you have Sarah now, who is sitting in her great idea. She's sitting in her great idea. Understand what I'm saying? This is a point for you to ponder on, because sometimes we get mad when we are sitting in our own situation that we came up with, or we participated in, or we did it. But then we get upset at everybody else. We get upset at God. We blame everybody else. We blame God. Not realizing, wait a minute, I am sitting in what I created. Yeah. So Sarah is now sitting in what she created. She is sitting in a household with her husband and her helpmate, to know that your husband now has been with this woman at your thumbs up, and now bore the child that you cannot have. And it's not only a child, but it is a boy, which means that's going to be the heir of your husband's blessings and favors and all of the things. Hold up, wait a minute. Things get thickened really, really quickly, because now these two women are like this, you know? And now you still have Abraham that had a, you know, that had a word that he would have a son. Now, obviously, in the old age, they start to think that it's just no way, it's just not going to happen. And this idea is the best idea, because Sarah, you can't have it. You getting old, the stuff is not, stuffing's not, stuff is not going down the way stuff once went down. The body is not bodying the way it used to body. Look, the equipments are not really equipping. Are you reading between the line with me? I hope so. But now you are sitting in what you what you did, and now you have troubles and issues with the woman that you gave access to this woman in your life. Not in your life, but really in your life. Because now Hagar is part of your household, not just as a maid, if you will, but now she is the mother of your husband's first child. That changed the dynamic of that household. Ladies, I don't know about you. If you have two women that live in one household, in one kitchen, it's hard, because now you're trying to share the kitchen. Y'all have different style of cooking. You have different style of living. Two women living in a household could be complicated. Period. Two women, and that could be mother and daughter or sisters. Two women living in a household is hard enough all by itself. You have cycles, your menstrual cycles and your hormones and all of the things. Now, on top of that, you are saying this is the woman who is the mother of your husband's firstborn son. That, y'all, is problematic. And that, y'all, is brave, because I would say this: how hard it is for us to be able to be in the same room with that same woman who has just now slept with your husband and now pregnant, and now this baby is walking around. Now you got little Ishmael. Hello, baby. Welcome to the room, hon. You got Ishmael now in the house, and you got Ishmael in the midst of the family, walking around being a little boy, probably oh my God, just having being a boy. He's having a good time. He's with his parents. We're watching him grow, and it's a beautiful thing. But even when you are in a household with such dynamics, I can't imagine that it's going to be all peaches and cream. Listen, don't lie to me not, because I'm telling you like this. These women were now going at it. These women had beef. I put, what's the beef? Well, here's the beef, y'all. And I don't mean beef meaning the steak. Beef, I don't even eat meat. Beef. They're beefing now because this woman is now the mother of your husband's. Let's let this sit for a minute. Let me park this in your heart for a moment. Let's park this. You are living in a house with your husband. Pay attention. because I need you to hear this. With your husband and your helpmate, your helpmaid, whom you gave permission for him to sleep with her so that she can bear a child for him, and then she does sleep with him. We don't know if she like, wouldn't you like to know, like, was she mad that she had to sleep with him? Or was she like, Dad, I'm so glad I get to sleep with him. Like, don't you want, like, as a woman, think about it. Like, what's your thought process behind this? Like, come on, talk back to me. What's your process about this? This woman, like, was Hagar like, oh, yes, I get to sleep with her man. Yes, okay. Oh, probably was she looking already like, oh, he is handsome. Now, or was it like, it didn't say what Hagar, like, it doesn't really speak from the Hagar perspective of, like, was she like, yes, I'm good with this? Or did they talk about this over pancakes at the breakfast table? Or did they talk about this over steak at the dinner table? Or maybe a turkey sandwich at the lunch table? Did they talk about this together? Like, how did we break this news to Hagar? Was she called in the room and was like, hey, Hagar, yeah, we got this great idea. And here we go. Yeah, Sarah was saying, or maybe Sarah spoke and said, hey, you know what, Hagar, I want you to sleep with Abraham so you can have a baby. And then she was like, yeah. Like, come on, somebody tell me, would you do this today? If a husband and wife brought you into this plan. Now, I do know that there are surrogate, there are different ways you can do that in today's world. That's not how they did that. They didn't go and then it was inserted, No, they actually used the real parts. They used the real parts. Okay, listen. I mean, come on. I'm telling you, I would have a lot of questions. Number one, you call me in the room. Now you want me to bear. Wait, what? You want me? So were you paying me as a surrogate? What was like? What for me? I'm trying to think about even from Hagar's perspective. Like, what? Why was that a yes? Why would you say yes to this? I get it. Maybe she said yes because maybe she was like, you know what? I feel bad for them. They cannot have Sarah cannot have children. And, she didn't have any children either. So it was like, okay, like, did we even know that she would be able to have a child? Who said that she could really get pregnant? Because all we know is that Sarah was barren, but we don't know if Hagar was barren initially before Ishmael it was conceived. But let's think about it. You bring this woman into this situation because you now brought this woman into your relationship. So you low key just had a threesome. Hello? Knock, knock. Are you there? You low key just had a threesome because you have Hagar as the third party in your marriage. Sorry, ladies, I'm not down with that. I'm not down with OPP. Yeah, you know me. I ain't bringing you into my marriage, baby. Okay? Because that never goes well. That never goes well. Somebody gonna catch something. If they're gonna catch some attitude and they're gonna catch these hands. So listen, anybody doing that. But back in those days, they did things differently. Now let's focus here. We have Hagar stepping into this role to be the mother of this baby that's going to be born. Now we have Hagar gets pregnant. She have a child. Imagine if it was in today's world where you have the gender reveal and it's like, oh my God, what is it going to be? I can only imagine by this time what Sarah's face would have been looking like. Mm-hmm. It better not be a boy. It better not be a boy. Because you know what the boy mean. The boy mean this boy is going to be carrying your husband's last name. But that baby did not come from you. And this baby is not just some baby that she's going to have and give to you. Because that's not it. Ishmael was not born to be a gift to Sarah and Abraham. Ishmael was born to be an heir for Abraham. That was the whole idea. Sarah, low key, was not really a part of why this baby was born. So you didn't have a baby for Sarah and Abraham. You had a baby for Abraham, which means now Sarah, yeah, we could really kick you to the curb. You know what I mean? Like, he could have really low key and say, you know what? You can't have babies anyway. And she over here, you know, she just popped out a whole boy for me. I'm good on that. But although that's not what happened, you still have these two women living in the house, bumping heads, finding out that, first of all, they describe Sarah as something beautiful. So Sarah must have been somebody that was like, you know, really good with the good eye. You know what I mean? Like, she was gorgeous. She was beautiful. Now, I don't know what Hagar looked like because there was no description. But imagine this. Now, what if Hagar was, you know, she's a hot fly girl? You know, what if she's a cutie with a booty? Woo! What if she's like, you know, boom, pow, boom, bow? And now you looking at her like, she better not have a boy with my husband. Now you mad about the situation you created. You brought this woman into your situation. You made the decision to open up your bedroom doors or her bedroom door or wherever it happened to say this was okay. Because why? We're trying to fix things on God's behalf when that's not our job. That's not our responsibility. You know, it's just not. Or let me see. There's a comment here. Hold up. Let me read. Hey God. So I was trying to cultivate the promise. Yes. Yes. That's exactly what happened. But listen, when we try to help God, because God already said what it was, Sarah didn't need to do nothing. She just needed to mind her business and have faith and trust and believe that what God said is what God said. But no, she decided on her own, I'm going to help God. And let me tell you like this, how we so much relatable to women in the Bible stories. We do this today. We try to help God. We try to put our own hands in the pot. Oh, God is not moving fast enough. Oh, it must not gonna happen because look at me, I'm old. No, you know, I can't possibly birth purpose. I'm so old. I can't possibly live in a life of obedience and faith because I'm so old. There is no such thing. As long as you have breath in your body, as long as you are here, your faith should still be activated. You should still be living in obedience, and you should still trust the Lord. And you should still seek him in every decision that you're going to, in every move that you're going to make, especially in such a plan. Because that right there was just a bad idea on so many ways. And it really came back. It was a backfire on Sarah. Because Sarah was the most impacted in the situation. Now, I will say Hagar ended up getting the boot, right? Because now these two women are like in the household. Now Ishmael is the firstborn son, but finally now shows up Isaac, the promised child. Oh my God, things have really now leveled up. Leveled up, leveled up, leveled up, leveled up, level up. It really leveled up. Because guess what? The heat now is on because now the promised child has actually arrived. Now you have the promised child Isaac in the house, and then you have Ishmael. Poor Ishmael did not ask for this. Ishmael did not ask to be born. Ishmael did not ask to be caught up in these women situation. But there's little Ishmael playing with his little brother, being boys. Oh, I don't know whatever boys do. I'm doing this. I'm assuming that they fighting, play fight, whatever they do, laughing, jumping, running, chasing each other, playing tag. Maybe they were playing, tag you it. Now here goes Sarah, watching the two kids getting along like brothers. Getting along like brothers, we playing, we having fun and having joy. Oh, you're my brother, I'm your brother, you're my brother, you're my brother, I'm your brother. All of that. And you're welcome for the entertainment. You did not ask for that, but you're welcome. So now you have these two boys interacting, playing as they should. They're siblings. Now Sarah is really mad. Because Sarah like, I don't want my son playing with your son. Now Sarah got a problem with the brothers being brothers. And she's like, went to her husband, like, you know what? No. This can't be, because I don't want him playing with my son. I don't want his son, her son, to be playing with my son. My son is the promised child. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Wasn't this your idea? Wasn't this your idea, though? Didn't you decide that that's how it should go? Now you upset because that's how it's going? There's a few things for us to take away from this. We get upset when we do our messy things, and then it gets real messy. And then it backfires on us, and now we got to carry that. We have to sit in that. We have to watch it. Because why? We're the one who created it. We are the ones who did it. But now we're mad because this is the situation at hand. Now we have an attitude. Now you're taking it out on the child. Now you are making it hard for Hagar in the house. Now Hagar is feeling uncomfortable because she's now walking on eggshell, because you are technically the woman of the house, because that is your husband. And now she's like, well, how do I go back to being a helpmaid when now I am the mother of Abraham's son? He's, she was like, well, my child is first. Come on, women. Come on, stop playing. Let's not be fake about this. Let's have real talk. Pull up to this live, and let's be real. What is your feelings about this? With this promised child being born now, but this child that is in the situation is also there, who now is technically Abraham's first son. He just wasn't the promised son. So now, as a woman who has a child such as Hagar, now you have to also deal with the fact that, wait a minute, so what, my son is not as important? So wait a minute now. Now you have these two women they have rivals going on, because Hagar now is looking like, well, what? Well, I'm the one who bore a son first. Now Sarah is like, well, my son Isaac is the promised child. Now you beefing, because now she's telling Abram she gotta go. So Hagar get kicked out with her son. She gets put out, y'all. She gets put out. Hagar now, she says to her husband, she needs to go into the deepest depth of the desert. Dang, you want her to die? Whoa, y'all. Could you tell me can you tell me that this right here is not something juicy? Please, somebody tell me something. This right here, women, is the kind of stuff that we do. And this is so fact and so actual, because we do this. Now you mad because her son is in the house. She's flaunting her son. You flaunting your son. Everybody wants to be the one because Abraham is who he is. Abraham had many sons. No, not Abraham. How's the song go? Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. Something like that. Anyway, I forgot. It's been a long time since I went to Sunday school. But y'all, listen. You are now mad because now she gave her the boot. She got kicked out. Hagar got kicked out. She got kicked out, y'all. She became homeless. Oh my God. She kicked her out of the house with her son because the heat was all the way up. They couldn't deal with it. She couldn't take it. She couldn't take the scene Ishmael in the house playing around with Isaac. She's like, no. You're not the promised child. You're the oops baby. And really, is he really oops? Wasn't it a planned situation? Now you mad about the plan? So now you kick the plan out? Oh, you should have sat in that. Because the truth is, it should have never happened. Now this woman is out here, get kicked out. She's on the run. She's crying. She's like, God, I don't understand. I did what they asked me to do. I did what they told me to do. I was a good steward. I became the vessel that they asked me to be. They asked me. I didn't go to them with this plan. They came to me. Why am I the one homeless? Why am I the one on the run? What did I do? I only did what they told me. She came to me with this plan. Sarah's God, because this is Hagar now on the run, and she out here trying to figure out ways to take care of Ishmael. She's bumming bad in the desert, and Sarah is kicking it up at the house, chilling in the tent. Because they ain't had no, a little luxury. They're chilling in the tent. And now Hagar is out here fending for herself and her son. These are the things that we do, women, that is so ill. We come up with these plans. We do these conniving things. We come up with all of these things that's just not a good idea, which is not good for anybody, not for you or for the other person. But now we end up hurting each other. We become so unrealistic and so unfair to the woman that we put in that situation. Because Hagar, there's so many ways this is like bad in so many ways. Hagar was starting to show off and show out because she had the son Ishmael first. Then you got now Sarah showing out and showing out because she got the promised son, which is Isaac. And now you have two women bumping heads with hormones and probably for the attention of Abraham. And now you have a child and a mother who get kicked out. Because one thing for sure was this. Abraham and Sarah was like this. They were tight. Like they had a really tight relationship. The Bible describes it as like Sarah gave up everything and just became, such a big influencer on Abraham, which is how and why she was really able to even convince him of this great idea, because there were like two peas in a pot. And wait a minute, and let me tell you this: pull up. Now, you do know the two times that Abraham said that Sarah was his sister, and they're like, "Oh, he lied." Well, he didn't. Did you know that? Did you know that they were really brother and sister? Okay, let's read our Bible. You can find these stories, by the way, in Genesis 16, 18, and 21. Again, Genesis 16, 18, and 21. I forgot to tell you the scriptures. Did you know that? I have never heard that preached on the pulpit. Have you? I did not know that they were actually brother and sister. For real. So, just like that, they had the same fathers, but different mothers. So they were half siblings. So he told the truth, but he just told half of it. But he really was. They really are. They really were. They were kissing siblings. But did you know that? Tell me if you knew that. Comment if you knew that. Say I knew that, because I didn't know that. And I read my Bible. This is so good. But did you know that there were actual siblings? So they were pretty tight. They like went really hard for one another. So the truth is, these two have been rocking and kicking it strong together as a unit. So I guess the truth is, Hagar could not break them up, but Hagar posed as a threat as far as the kingdom is concerned. Because I don't believe that Sarah was afraid that Hagar would take Abraham from her. But it was all about Ishmael and Isaac, because the whole beef was the fact that, oh, well, my child is the promised child, because that's the real firstborn son of Isaac. And there were times in reference in the Bible, it was like, yeah, Isaac was Abraham's first son, but he actually wasn't. But that's the first son in the sight of God. It's the firstborn in the sight of God, in the sense of that's the promised child that I spoke of. But technically speaking, Ishmael was his firstborn son. But now you have this woman living in the desert, hungry, trying to survive, on the run, crying. She just couldn't take it anymore. And now the Lord met her right where she was, and was like, basically like, get it together. Stop crying. I need you to get it together, because I need you to understand that, this is what's going to be happening with your son. Yes, Isaac is the promised child, but your son, he's going to be all right. He's going to be out here doing what he needs to do, whether or not he has the same position as Isaac. He doesn't, because he's not the promised child. And you didn't know that, right? Okay, see, I thought I was the only one that did not know that. I did not know that they were siblings. And so, truth be told, I don't understand what the whole beef was when he said that was his sister. It was. I have half siblings. They're still my siblings, and I ain't sleeping with them. Ew, no thanks. But they still your siblings. If I told somebody that that's my sister, I wouldn't be lying. That's the truth. That's my sister. We have the same fathers, but not the same mothers. It's still sibling to me. Sibling to siblings. Okay. Even if they're adopted, they're still my siblings. If I see you as my sibling, I'm not sleeping with you. Sorry. Anyway, but here's a few things for us to take away from this conversation, because these women are now in this household bumping heads. Women got kicked out. Now Ishmael and his mom is out here in these streets. They're homeless. They're trying to figure it out. And there's all like, Hagar find herself in a real tight, bad situation. And she has to manage this because she's a mother. A mother's going to do what she got to do to take care of her child. You may not like the child. You may not want this child around, but it's my child. And I care for my child. I love my child. I'm not going to let you mistreat my child because you are feeling some kind of a way because you feel as though you don't want your child and my child to play together. These are things that we do as women, and we do, you know. And sometimes some of us are just more out there and more bold and more arrogant about it than others. But a lot of times you'll have people like, well, I don't want my child around that child. I don't have, because that child's going to be a bad influence on my child. Or I don't like the way that this parent is, so I don't want that child with my child. And listen, I've been that woman. I've been her, because and I've been on the both side of the fence, where it was me that did not want my child with, connected to certain people, and then it was on the flip side where other people didn't want my children to be around their children. So I've been on both sides of the equation in that sense, and it doesn't feel good. Either way, it hurts. One, we're talking about children, right? And we have to cultivate their hearts. We have to cultivate their minds. We got to teach them right. We got to show them the way to love one another and how to live in harmony and peace and in unity with people. And when we act certain ways in putting our children in the middle of making these kind of tough choices, like, oh, my mother said I can't play with you, or my mother said I can't be around you, or these kind of things, it really creates a lot of underlying issues that later can come back as trauma, right? Can come back as where they got to need a coach like me. Okay, I got to go to Coach Miss Jessie because I got this confident trauma. Look, it happens. But this is one of the reasons why I said we have to learn how to care for one another and how to protect each other's heart, how to protect each other as women and having each other's back and doing good things towards one another, and learning how to care and love and really be fragile with each other's heart and feelings, because we are powerful creatures. Okay, women, we are powerful, and we know how to hit someone with a low blow. We know how to cut deep. Women, we have that technique. Now, we know that this is the month of domestic violence, and we know that verbal abuse is a really big deal. A real big part of domestic violence is the verbal abuse. But do you know, women, we verbally abuse one another as well? Do you know that we verbally cut each other with our words and our ways? We do. We kill each other. We crucify each other. We will hurt each other and be so careless with each other's hearts and feelings and be non-apologetic about it. And we don't ever always stand in the face of truth to know that, wait a minute, I need to get that right with my sister. I need to have a conversation with my sister. A lot of times we are women who just do things that is so cold and deep, mean spirited things to one another. And we sometimes are doing it so carelessly and so easily, which is so wrong. In this case, with these two women, eventually they are now separated because of the fact that Hagar had to go. Abraham agreed to this. It's like, no, that's your that's your helpmate. You deal with her how you see fit. I support you 110%. So you have that Abraham is supporting Sarah in her decision to kick Hagar out with Ishmael, because now he got his promised child. Hagar is like, Hagar who? Oh, that's right. Hagar is the mother of Ishmael. Now Hagar all of a sudden is not that significant. Now all of a sudden Hagar don't really have much of a leverage that she did before Isaac showed up on the scene. Because before Isaac was born, Ishmael was the little baby in the diaper walking around. Everybody was looking at little Ishmael grow up, including Sarah. And I'm sure Sarah had to participate in helping taking care of Ishmael. Like, you need to watch Ishmael. I'm going to the store. Ishmael diaper needs to be changed, so you need to change Ishmael. Look, you're gonna be a part of this plan. You the one you came up with it. Or don't think you're not gonna help out. It's your turn to get up in the middle of the night to make the bottle. Okay, what was her responsibility? What did she have to do? Being that she came up with this great idea, did she have to stay up at night with the baby? Huh? Did she have to watch the baby, help clean up the baby? Because the baby is here. Anyway, but Hagar really lost the leverage of if she ever had any once Isaac was born. Because now the promised child is here. And it was not enough room for Ishmael and Isaac and Hagar to exist in one household. That is too much, and just too much. And so here's a few lessons for us tonight. I believe that, we have to really learn how to have better conversations with one another as women. We need to know how to really help each other. In this here, it says for Sarah's perspective, here's a lesson for her. Okay, God's view is better than ours. He will answer prayers in the best way and in the best time. That's a big key and takeaway. We need to let God be God. We need to allow God to have full range and full control because he is in control. When we try to put our hands into things that we don't belong, we make a mess out of it. And this right here was messy. And, if you just would have waited on God, if you just would have trusted God, even though she was getting old, there was still the fact that if God said it, we believe it, and that's it. And for Hagar, it says here, God hears our cries. Look for evidence of his provision in our lives. When she got kicked out of the house and living in the desert and was struggling, she was crying out to God, like, I need help. I'm out here with my son, and we are like all of a sudden struggling. I didn't even ask for this baby. This baby was birthed out of a plan. Now I got kicked to the curb because I was no longer needed in this plan. So she cried. And, ultimately, God heard her cry and met her there. She ended up, so look, watch this. This is what happened for Hagar. It says, okay, so hey, here's Hagar cry, y'all. Tell me if you ever cried this before. Hagar cried like Hagar cried. Ishmael cried. They both, the boy and the mother, was crying. Jesus, fix the whole thing, please. So you got Hagar crying, Ishmael crying. Then the angel came and spoke to Hagar from the heavens and said, Hagar, why are you worried? Don't be afraid. I have heard your son crying. Help him up and hold his hand, because I will make him the father of great nation. And even though he was not the promised child, he was still significant. He still was important. He just wasn't the promised child. And we sometimes feel like, oh, if we're not number one, then we must not mean nothing. And this goes to show you that's not true. Because you're number two or you're number three, to God, you will always be number one. He doesn't say, well, you are number two, so I'll care less about you. It's us that gives those level of careness or level of importance based on numbers. It's the same thing like how you see today with social media. people will look at things like, oh, well, they only have like a couple of followers. I'm a person though. The numbers of people who's following me doesn't equate to the level of importance of my story or importance of what God gave me or importance of my purpose. What we do, we go by these numbers. It's like integrated in our mindset. Social media got us, all kind of wicked ways, like to judge people by numbers. How many followers do they have? How many likes did they get? Oh, did it go viral? All these things is how we measure ourselves, and we are low key operating in the spirit of comparison. We're constantly comparing ourselves to each other, constantly comparing ourselves to somebody else's, to somebody else's 10-year in. We're comparing ourselves our first year. We assume we should be where they are because they've been doing this for 10, 12 years. We just got in here yesterday and we think we should be. And it doesn't mean that it can't happen, because all it takes is for God to breathe on your situation and everything changes. And guess what? You could even pass the person who was once 50, 100,000 K. You could be the one now. You are like 7-digit style. Okay? So we have to stop even doing that. Comparing ourselves with all these numbers and holding each other with these unspoken, unmet expectations as far as numbers. And God, like, wait, didn't I say I will leave the 99, go get the one? Why is it that we don't think we are that one? We each are that one in God's eyes. He don't look at us and be like, oh yeah, that's number 92. Nah, I'm not gonna be there for that because that's all the way down at the bottom. No, he makes us, he's so intentional about us, and he's so careful about us that he says that he will leave the 99 for the one. That's how much he loves us. That's how much he cares for us. And that's what really happened here, even for Hagar. Because guess what? Hagar, ended up, watch this. Hagar noticed, now mind you, Hagar was struggling in the desert. So watch this. Hagar noticed a nearby well that she hadn't seen before. Do you know that well probably was been there? But Hagar didn't notice it because Hagar was busy crying. Hagar was busy trying to understand, like, what just happened? How did I get the boot? And why am I in the desert with my son? Hagar was trying to wrap her mind up about this plan that went south. Like, what did I do wrong? She busy crying. Meanwhile, supply and her needs are already met. All she had to do was just look. Sometimes all we got to do is just look. And the answer is there. Lord has already been the Jehovah Jireh. It was already there. The resource was already there. The door was already open. Did we walk through? Sometimes we got to look again. Sometimes we need to open our eyes, right? We need to be focused and use discernment and wisdom. Every door that closes doesn't mean that you are now done. The Lord has something else for you. If you get the boot, if you get kicked out, the Lord may have planned for you. In this kicking out situation is what's going to grow you. That's what's going to build your character. That's what's going to build you as a person, your strength. It's going to make you resilient. But we sometimes are so caught up in the fact that we're not chosen, or the fact that we got kicked out, that we forgot or we forget that God is still the blesser. God is still the way maker. God is still the provider. He is still El Roy. He's the God who sees. He knows everything. He's the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, and everything in between. He's still that number one God. So when we are crying and we are so busy weeping about the things that we think that, was so much good for us, when God it's okay. It's okay that you got kicked out. I am going to use this, and I'm going to make it work for your good. Romans 8:28 pops up real quick. Jeremiah 29:11 comes up real quick. Ephesians 3:20 come up real quick, because he's that God. He can do anything. And the only thing that he can't do is fail. That's the kind of God we're supposed to be trusting in. That's the kind of God that we're supposed to be serving. And that is how we're supposed to approach our lives, and that's how we're supposed to live. Knowing that we should have faith in the God himself, not in someone else's plan, not in Sarah's plan and trying to help God. And if you are approached with those kind of plans, you really need to pray too. Like, wait a minute. I need to talk to God about this. This doesn't sound right. And if it doesn't sound right, it probably isn't. This was a bad idea on many ways, on many levels. But they still went through with the plan, which the plan ended up backfiring. Because guess what? The promised child did show up on the scene, and that changed everything. Now it's like, what have we done? Oh my God. Lord, help us. Lord, help me. Because now you want God to come help you in this mess that you made. Ladies, we have got to stop moving in emotions and really start thinking and praying. And this is for me too. I'm not telling you nothing that I'm not telling myself. Have to start thinking before we react. Use wisdom in our choice of words and how we handle each other's heart, how we handle each other's emotions. And be careful in situations that we put our friends back against the wall. Because maybe Hagar really did want to help. Maybe her heart was pure and in the right mindset, that she really did want to help. We don't know. When you get to heaven, put that on the question list. Well, Hagar, what was you really thinking? Did you already want Abraham and this was an easy yes or no? Or was it like you know what? I love you guys, and if that's what you need me to do for you as your helpmate, I'll do it. Like, what was really going on? And that's it, y'all. I hope that you take away some things that I've said about us as women and caring about one another's heart, and as women knowing how to treat each other, loving each other, respecting each other, and being careful of our choices, because we bring children into these situations, and now the children are hurt, the children are separated, and these children have to go through now these issues because as adults we created a mess. We do. We could make a mess, boy. Man, we could make a mess. Woo, we could make a mess. Jesus. But that's it. That's all, y'all. I think that is really it for this story of these two women. Ultimately, yes, the promised child, was able to receive his father's blessings. These women just did not become besties. I don't know if they were designed to be originally or not. We don't know. We'll have to ask God on that. But look, we have to think about our choices. We really do. So ladies, my lip feels sticky. I don't know, man, maybe because of this juice, even though I'm about to sip some more. But woo, that thing went to my brain. But it's so good. Let's just be mindful of our choices, okay? So what few things we could take away. All right, let me see. Do you know they refer to Hagar as an abused woman? I told you, since we are talking about since we this is domestic violence awareness month, we have to be careful about what abuse look like, because we know that it doesn't look like the only thing that people always think about, which is being hurt physically, but there's so many other ways. And Sarah had her ways, and she was a good wife to her husband, but she still made mistakes, right? So let's just go down the line about Sarah. So Sarah, she was the wife of Abraham, right? um she could not have any children, but the Lord remembered her and opened her womb womb for Isaac to be born in her old age. um uh so we know that she came up with the plan with Hagar to have a child for Abraham. But we know that God did promise her a child, and she gave birth. um she we know that she's the one who told Abraham that Hagar and Ishmael had to go. They had to get the boot. um oh my God, Abraham and Sarah's marriage is an example of committed love, because I told you they were two really tight. They were two peas in a pot. They was really tight. God promises are kept on his timetable. That's right. Despite your mistakes, God is sovereign and his purpose will be accomplished. So we know that to be a fact, because they both made mistakes. Everybody made a mistake in here. But God is a redeemer. He's faithful and he's good to us, even when we make mistakes, even when we put our hands in it. But we do have to understand that we do sit in our situations sometimes, because in that sitting, the Lord gets to deal with you in his own special way. Now for Hagar, we know that as I told you, that she was the one that was chosen to have a son, a child. We didn't know it was going to be a boy, but she eventually had a son for it was Ishmael. Um um oh yes. So she was also promised that she would be the mother of great nation. Um and that's what the Lord told her, because even though she wasn't Sarah, she still played a part in the promise. And she did give birth to the son. And she was sent to the wilderness in the desert. God did provide for her and her son in the wilderness. uh she experienced prejudice. They were prejudiced against her. She did experience injustice because she got the boot. She was abused, because them women was like, okay, we both can't be here together. Somebody gotta go. It's gonna be you. Okay, boo boo. In despair, because her kid and Sarah kid just could not be together because Sarah was not having it. Yet God saw her and provided for her needs. And she responded in faith to God despite difficult circumstances. And y'all, that is the beef that was between Sarah and Hagar. They had beef. And today you may have beef with your sisters. You may be going through a circumstance right now that challenges is between you and a sister. And you might be trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I handle this situation? I want you to think about what we just talked about tonight with Hagar and Sarah. Hey, good evening, honey. Oh, I'm just wrapping up, but you can go back and watch the replays. It's a really good one. Um, but it's important to know that when we do have beef, with our friends, or maybe they're not so much our friends, but we have beef with one another, try to do your best to reconcile those things. Try to do your best to be apologetic, right? And be sensitive to, okay, good, thank you. Be sensitive to each other's feelings. I think one of the things that has been really lost in the essence of generation is really love of sisterhood. And I know we talk about community a lot, and community is like a big deal in today's society, but it doesn't speak that you really care about each other's heart. Community just mean y'all in the same room. Community mean that you are in each other's presence in a sense where we're in the same group. But how do we really know one another in those groups? Do we really have that level of like something could be happening to each other, just one of the people, and really show up for them? So let's just be more intentional about our friendships and our relationships. Let's be more intentional about when we hurt each other, instead of trying to go low blows and blow for blow. It's okay if sometimes you take that L, and it's hard for us to follow to swallow our pride. It's hard for us sometimes to just say I'm sorry first. But we really do have to learn how to do that. And then when you have children involved, you know, and children are innocent. They are innocent bystanders who are now object of a feud that they did not create. And this is a perfect example of that. You have children, Isaac and Ishmael, who are just kids, but because mothers was not getting along, now it impact the brothers hanging out, and that's not fair to kids either. um so because there are instances, like for example, maybe not in such as drastic as this one, but you have, and women that have children, with one man. So you have sibling, your child is a sibling to this other woman children. And sometimes we are so, you know, upset about how things might have worked out between the man, or maybe we don't like the woman, that we use our children as the object of the fight. And the children are innocent bystanders. They should be able to grow up and know their siblings. And have relationship with their siblings. So we have to consider that. In this case, Hagar got the boot. Hagar was sent into the desert with her son. That was still his son, you know? And then you have a father who says okay to that. That's messy boots. And so today we have to keep in mind when we are making decisions, because there's some decisions you just can't undo. You just can't. You can't undo it. But you can make better choices moving forward. You can make the best out of a challenging situation. And we sometimes see us as women, we are like fighting and arguing about a man. We beefing and this, that, and the other about a man. And we say some ugly things to each other about a man. And I mean, we will go toe to toe and rip a woman's hair out. Oh, Jesus fix it. I mean, I've seen women brawl over a man. And the truth is, that should never be. Never be. And I mean, not saying that a man is not important. I'm not saying he's not, he's less significant, but we have to know as women how to carry ourselves, and we have to learn the art of, okay, yeah, I'm good with that. You have to learn how to say, it's not about did I win, or well, he's my man, I got him, I got him, I got him. Oh, listen, let's just be very careful how we treat each other's heart, how we care for each other's heart. It matters. It matters, y'all. How we talk to one another as women. It matters. And let me go back to the situation with Sarah asking Hagar to have a baby with her man. Pull up, girls. Pull up closer. Bad idea. Bad idea, bad idea. Now, granted, if you are doing something such as surrogacy because you know that you cannot have a child and you desire to have a child and you want to go through the proper channel to have a surrogate, then that's okay. Everybody understand what position they're playing. Everybody understand what's the end goal, and that is you are going to be as a surrogate, meaning I am renting your womb for 9 months, and then I'm going to take my baby and we're going to take our baby home. That's different. Be careful, because there's some women who thinks like it's okay to be extra freaky and bring another woman into the bedroom with your husband. Baby, be careful. Don't play those kind of games. Don't do it. Don't bring another woman into your situation, and definitely not into your bedroom. Hello? Anybody out there listening? Because this is very important. Because now you just, your whole situation just got messy. Listen, I'm telling you, sis, this is real deal, because sometimes we don't get to talk real to one another because we are busy sugarcoating and not saying what the real facts are. The real facts is, if a threesome may sound like a big fun game to do, and maybe you having the time of your life during that, but let me tell you, there is a day after. You better consider that day after. What happens tomorrow? And what happens if somebody gets pregnant? What happens if now he wants to be with her? What happens? Be careful about the things you allow in your bedroom, and the things you allow in your marriage, and the things you allow in your life. It can be the very thing that will end up tormenting you, and you are going to be so regretful that you ever made such decision. Use wisdom. Use wisdom. Pray. Talk to the Lord. You don't have to help him. He doesn't need your help. He is the helper. He don't need your help. He's the one who does the help. He says he gave you a helper. Hello? The Holy Spirit. He left you with a helper. So you're not free by yourself on this earth. You are a moving being with an active Holy Spirit. And if you don't have that and you are a Christian, then you need to go back and reconsider, because something didn't happen right. So that's all I'm saying. Just think about your choices. Think about the choices that you make, and then think about how you treat each other. Betrayal is a big deal. I said that last week. I wanted to talk about, the art of betraying, sisterhood. Be careful of how you treat your sisters. Don't go, being manipulative, lying, conniving, sneaky, disrespecting, gossiping, backbiting. Don't be that kind of a friend. Don't be that kind of a woman. Let's learn to respect each other, because we are talking about domestic violence against men, against women, which is a fact. But there are also abuse between women. We abuse each other. We abuse each other with the way we treat each other. We abuse each other by the way we speak to each other and of each other. Let's do better. Let's do better. Don't wait. I'm going to begin. No, start now. Maybe there's some relationships that you need to get right before the end of Q4. Get them relationships right. You don't need to go back being too thick as thieves, but just get them right. Time is of the essence. You don't know when it's going to be your time to go. Period. All right, y'all. So, as you know, we have our a purple day tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's the 17th. Yes, I want to say yes. Tomorrow is Go Purple. So make sure that you rock your purple, a shade of purple. Okay. So make sure you rock that out as a support domestic violence awareness month. So make sure tomorrow you are rocking your Go Purple. Tomorrow is October 17th. And take pictures and post it, tag me, you know. Coaching with Miss Jessie, let me know that you are on support of wearing your purple. And then don't forget, because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, here's some phone numbers for you. 800-799-SAFE. That's 800-799-SAFE. That's 800-799-7233. That is a toll-free number. Or if you are in need of this or just need to hold on to this information, you can text START to page text START to 88788. The word START, START, to 88788, or you can go directly to the website at www.thehotline.org, and you can speak to someone right there. They are very careful about how they handle these situations. You're not alone. Know that there is help. Help is already present. I pray for your safety. I pray for your peace. I pray that you will be a survivor and a thriver. On this Saturday, I will be on a panel talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So just be on the lookout for that. And then on the 30th, me and a group of my sisters, we're going to have a night of conversations with Sisters for Sisters. That's going to be the second year. You're going to hear some amazing triumphant and survival and thriver stories for these women. And I want you to be a part here on this platform and help push forth the conversation and the awareness for domestic violence. Go Purple tomorrow. Tag me, tag another survivor, warrior, and thriver, and let them know that you are supporting them, that we're gonna break the silence to end domestic violence, right? And yeah, so meet me here for that sisters conversation. That's happening on October 30th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on this platform. So thank you for rocking with me tonight. I hope and pray that something I said today will cause a change reaction in your life, and that you too will be a good steward over your heart and over your sister's heart. All right, we are our sister's keepers. So let's do better, and let's not look at each other as, oh, this is just a number or just another woman. No, that's my sister. And not only my sister, but she's my sister in God. Okay? All right, y'all. That's it. That's all. I am your girl. It's your girl. It's your coach. Coach who? Miss Jessie. Yeah. I'm out of here, y'all. All right, I'm gonna sign on to Instagram first. So I love you both. Well, I love you both, meaning this and this. Okay, over here I got YouTube and and Facebook, and over here I have Instagram. So let's go Instagram. I'm signing off with you first. And guess what? Come here. Yes, you. I love you on purpose. Peace. All right. Okay, so I'm done with Instagram, y'all. So Facebook and YouTube, thank you for rocking with your girl. And guess what? Come here. I love you too on purpose. Peace.